It's the state's understanding that testimony will be that the only health coverage available for the child is through government medical provided by Miss Knight. So Miss Newman will continue to pay cash medical support of $57 per month. Mr. Stokes will pay cash medical support as well. I believe part of the temporary order was to see what other health insurance was available since he is employed, but I don't believe we have any new information today. With regard to child support, Miss Newman's will continue to be $220, and that's based on the minimum wage presumption, because we had hoped she would have some employment at this point, but we again don't have an update as to that, and it's my understanding they would like it finalized. Additionally, for Ms. Newman's case, the state is requesting that we go ahead and confirm arrears, which are reserved in that temporary order as of March 31, 2024, prior to the new support order for both child and med support. And the repayment on that, Your Honor, will be $79 and begins first for Ms. Newman. And it's the state's understanding that Mr. Stokes actually not March, and if that's
you're cracking up on me severely.
confirmed.
I'm not sure if it's you or me, but I got everything up until you said Mr. Newman and Mr. Stokes. I'm sorry. And if you can turn off your video and see if that helps, and go ahead and continue after what you said, as far as what you said, starting with Mr. Stokes as information. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. With regard to Mr. Stokes, state stands he didn't have any or much at the end of March, and so the state is fine with non-suiting its caution of arrears on his case. The temporary support ordered for him was actually on the 10% deviation. It's the state's understanding that Mr. Stokes and Ms. Knight would like this court to order support in the amount of $400 per month rather than guideline calculated $627, or, sorry, Your Honor, that's not the full amount. But his was roughly $221 less if this court approved that deviation starting August 1st. And I don't believe they're seeking a change to the cash medical support since we don't have evidence of a private source today. But I think that covers it, Your Honor, for both parents' obligations to Ms. Knight.
All right, then let's get some testimony from the parties and say, let me hear Ms. Knight say she's in agreement with all that. 20% deviation, so the court will need to hear some testimony why I should do that, but we're getting close. So anyway, I'll figure it out. But at this time, I'll ask Ms. Newman, Mr. Stokes, and Ms. Knight to all unmute themselves and raise their right hands, please. Mr. Stokes is unmuted already, sorry. Ms. Knight, you're still muted. Ms. Newman, you're still muted.
Sorry.
Okay, you're both unmuted now. Everyone solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're going to give here today is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you.
Yes.
All right, everybody's officially on the oath. I allow the state to call you both all as witnesses, and let's get some confirmation of the agreements. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Knight, what is your full name?
Ellen Louise Knight.
Who is the child in this case?
Brody Wayne Stokes.
How are you related to Brody?
I'm his grandmother.
And were you able to, who are Brody's parents?
David Wayne Stokes and Whitney Nicole Newman.
And which of these two, ma'am, are you related to?
David Wayne Stokes.
Were you able to hear my opening statement to the court about our disagreements, or sorry, the relief you all are wanting the court to approve?
Can you repeat that? You're breaking up. I don't know whose phone.
No, I think it's on Ms. Bunga.
Apologies, ma'am. It's definitely me.
Okay.
You
Can
were
you
in
repeat?
Agreement, Miss. Yes, ma'am. You were in agreement that Miss Support should stay the same it was in the temporary order.
I guess. I mean, I'm confused. Yes.
What part confuses you, ma'am?
Well, when you say previous order, do you mean the one we're talking about now doing, or?
Ms. Knight, I'm talking about the order that you all did before this court with my colleague, and it had Ms. Newman paying $220 a month in child support and $57 a month in medical support.
Yes, I am. Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes.
Not a problem, ma'am. And is your grandson's health coverage still provided by you through the government?
Yes.
And you're not aware whether Mr. Stokes's employment would offer something comparable for Brody?
I think it's a lot more expensive, I think, is what he had checked into.
And sorry, ma'am, I couldn't hear you, but it was cutting out. So you're saying it was more expensive?
I believe so. I believe that's what he said. He had checked into it, and it would be a lot more than what he was paying y'all.
Okay. And moving on, ma'am, to the parents each being ordered to pay you support back in 2018 by the Department of Family and Protective Services, correct?
Yes,
And so based on Ms. Newman's history of payments, what she had to send through our state disbursement unit, you agree that we show her owing approximately $5,769.15 as of the end of March 2024?
yes, ma'am, I do.
And do you have any problem, ma'am, with the state requesting that a judgment be taken for that full amount and repayment of $79 being set to begin August 1st?
No, I don't. This needs to be settled.
And
I
then,
mean,
thank you, ma'am. Moving on to Mr. Stokes' support. You are aware that my colleague calculated Mr. Stokes should actually pay more than the $610 that he was ordered to pay back in April. Is that your understanding?
yes,
Am I correct that your request is that this court consider allowing him to only pay $400 per month as support for Brody?
yes,
And that would be in addition to the medical support amount that he was supposed to pay.
yes.
Why do you think your grandson is not entitled to the full 600 plus amount?
His dad contributes all the time for Brody. If there's times that he goes and he gets him shoes, or he goes gets him clothes, he does things. I mean, if something happens and I need his help, he's there for his son. And I'm not saying Miss Newman won't be either,
How
but
long-
she's not here.
Right, that's sufficient.
Okay,
Ms.
ma'am,
Mongat.
backing up a bit.
That's sufficient, Ms. Mongat. I got it. That's not a problem now. Go ahead. You can continue with the next line of questioning. Thank you.
Okay, yes, Your Honor. Miss Knight, are you aware of either parent serving in the military?
No,
Are you aware of either parent ever as a first responder any?
you're cutting up, honey. I lost you.
Yes, ma'am. Did either parent ever work as a first responder?
Has either
As
parent worked as the first responder to the best of your knowledge, Ms. Knight?
No, I'm sorry. The phone's cutting up.
No, I know Ms. Mongat. Yeah, she's had some internet problems this week, so yeah, it's back again this evening. So anyway, no, the answer was no. They weren't, Ms. Mongat. You may proceed.
No,
Thank you, Your Honor.
I'm sorry.
And Miss Knight, as far as Mr. Yes, ma'am. As far as Mr. Stokes' arrears, do you have any problem with the state just not addressing that issue since he has been current or close to?
No, I guess not. I mean, I didn't know he was behind on anything.
Thank you, ma'am. Your Honor, I pass this with.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. I'll let you stay call the next witness, and yeah, Ms. Mongat, you're still having a little problem, but hopefully we'll get to the next two witnesses. Call your next witness, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls Whitney Newman. Ma'am, what is your full name?
Ms. Newman, you're muted, ma'am.
Whitney Nicole Newman.
And ma'am, were you able to hear my opening statement to the court?
Yes.
Did you also hear Ms. Knight's testimony?
Yes.
Was there anything that she or I said that you disagreed with?
No, everything's good.
And so going forward, ma'am, you understand we're taking a judgment for the child support arrears. So you have $79 on top of the current child support and medical support you were previously ordered to pay in April.
Yes.
And her information about military status and first responder status was correct?
Correct.
Thank you, ma'am. Your Honor, I pass this witness.
All right, thank you, Ms. Newman. Call your next witness, please, Ms. Mongat.
Thank you, Your Honor. The state calls David Stokes. Sir, what is your full name?
David Wayne Stokes, Jr.
Have a good night.
Mr. Stokes, were you able to hear my opening statement and Ms. Knight's testimony?
Yeah, for the most part.
And sir, as far as the agreements between you and Ms. Knight to pay $400 a month, you were joining her in that request.
Yes, you're correct.
And based on the temporary order negotiations, you understood the state would not be looking at confirming your arrears.
Right.
And going forward, sir, you're still comfortable paying cash medical support since whatever your employer had was much too expensive?
Yeah, it's $427 a month for medical, and that's a full family of 4. So yeah, the 190 is fine.
And was there anything else, sir, you wanted the court to consider?
No, that's it. I mean, just all the school supplies and stuff that I do buy, the trips that I take them on, the clothes, the shoes, the extra that I give them. That's it, really.
Your Honor, I pass this witness and the state rests.
All right, folks, I'm looking at going ahead and approving the agreement. Again, Mr. Stokes, I'm gonna go ahead and grant the request. I'm gonna find that we're not gonna do anything with your support balance is close enough to zero. That's not necessary. I'm gonna go ahead and grant the agreement that you should pay $400 a month child support based on the fact that you pay above and beyond the extra $200 each month that that would be coming in and to your children. I'm gonna go ahead and grant the agreement between Ms. Newman and Ms. Knight. I'm gonna reduce the judgment, the unpaid child support. I'm going to order repayment as requested by the state and is agreed to. I'm going to order current child support based on the minimum wage presumption going forward. And I will go ahead and at this point, I'll just go ahead and waive court costs on both these parties at this time. Ms. Von Gatt to allow them to get back on it, allow the mom to get back on her feet and make sure she pays, makes her. And I'll go ahead and ask the state to prepare that order and circulate it amongst the parties so the court can sign off on it. Is there anything else specifically I need to rule on, Ms. Von Gatt, or anything else you want me to, or anything that you need me to rule on at this time as far as official rendering in this matter?
No, Your Honor, you covered it.
All right, so I'll let y'all. Ms. Von Gatt, do you need them to get back in the breakout room with you, or are you going to try to get in touch with them later? How you want to handle that, ma'am?
Parties will go ahead and rejoin their breakout rooms. I'll work on it as fast as possible, Your Honor, since I believe there is another hearing left and time for me to get it to them.
All right, thank you very much. All right, Ms. Von, we go ahead and go off the record. Folks, go back to your breakout rooms. She'll get an order ready for you guys to sign off on, and y'all be able to get out of here and don't have anything else to worry about as far as this is concerned. Anyway, thank y'all very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Stokes and Ms. Newman. Sound like y'all both trying to do what you need to do. And especially you, Mr. Stokes, take care. I'm sorry, Judge is looking at the wrong side there. Take care of those kids, and yeah, one thing, they're not going to get any less expensive. Okay, never, never, never. All right, when they're kids, there's something expensive at the toy store, and when they're grown-ups, oh, I like that bottle of wine over there, Dad. So yeah, it is what it is. Thank you, folks. Thank you, Stokes. Thank you, Ms. Newman, and thank you, Ms. Knight. We're off the record. All right. I think I got that one taken care of on the docket sheet. Okay, no cost. Okay. All right, who's up next, please?